Hello and welcome to Boardrama. In this video, we learn to play Sugar Rush, a board game designed by Boardrama. Sugar Rush is a game for 3 to 10 players and usually takes 10 to 15 minutes to play. In this game, each player takes the role of a dessert by taking a dessert identity card. The objective of the game is to remember everyone else's identities across the table and then call them out when a certain situation arises. Let's take a look at the components in Sugar Rush. We'll start with the credits card, a couple of quick reference cards, a few game rules cards, this dessert identity deck which has 16 unique desserts on the front side, and finally the main dessert deck which has pink and blue cards. Let's set up the game. To start the setup, take the dessert identity cards, spread them at the center of the table. Each player can now take their pick of their favorite dessert and keep it next to them. Once this is done, you may take all the dessert identity cards that are still remaining on the table and put them in a face down deck at the center of the table. Now, take a few moments to memorize everyone else's dessert identities. Once all the players are ready, you can now flip over these cards so that they are hidden. It's now time to set up the main deck. If you are playing with 6 or fewer players, you only need to use the pink front side deck. If you have 7 or more players, however, you need the blue cards mixed in with the pink cards. Shuffle the main deck together and put them at the center of the table within reach of every player, and we are ready to go. Let's take a look at the gameplay for Sugar Rush. In this game, players will take turns in clockwise order. On your turn, all you need to do is take the top card from the main dessert deck and keep it in a stack next to your dessert identity card. As you open the card, that card might match another player's top card at the moment. These two players are now in a duel. Both dueling players must now correctly recall and announce the other player's dessert identity. The first player to do it correctly will take the top dessert card from the other player and put it in a pile underneath their own dessert identity card. As the top card is taken from this player, it reveals a previously played card by that player, and that card matches another top card from another player. Now these two players are in a duel. As you can imagine, this could happen multiple times as multiple duels are triggered one after the other. Just make sure you resolve all the duels and then move on to the next player's turn. The game end is triggered when a player on their turn takes the last card from the main dessert deck. Resolve any duels that happen because of it. At this point, the game is done. Now, each player counts the number of cards in their score pile. The player with the most cards in their score pile wins the game. If 2 or more players are tied for this, then the tied players count up the number of cards in their personal face-up stack. The player with the most cards in this stack wins the game. If this is still tied, then all tied players win the game. Let's go through a few clarifications. First, on your turn, when you're opening a card, you must open it such that everyone can see it at the same time. You cannot look at a card privately before you reveal it to others. If a player does this, they must return the card to the bottom of the deck and draw a new one. Secondly, if a player calls out another player's dessert identity card at any time without having a real match or being in a real duel, as a penalty, they must remove one of the cards from their score pile and put it under the dessert deck. Third, if a dueling player says the wrong identity, then that is fine. You can just keep saying more names until you hit the right one. This does mean, however, that the other player will have that extra time to get your name. So, make sure you follow these rules when you play the game. To level up your game of Sugar Rush, you can try a few interesting variants. First, you could try the identity swap variant, where each player gets a once per game power to swap their identity with another player. The selected player cannot refuse the swap. Also, both players need not announce their identities again. Second, you could try the identity refresh variant, in which you can use your power once per game to take a new card from the deck and put your old one back. In this case, you have to announce your new identity card to the rest of the players. Third, you could try a variant that combines the previous 2 variants, but you can only use one of the 2 powers, and that too only once per game. Finally, if you're looking for a quick game of Sugar Rush, instead of playing until the main dessert deck runs out, you could play until a player reaches 7 cards in their score pile. At this point, the player wins the game and the game is over. That's all you need to know to play Sugar Rush. I hope you have a really good time playing the game. Thanks so much for watching. Let us know in the comments what you think.